Hello, everyone.
Hello.
It is night 3. Summer Game Fest Playdays is done. We're here to talk about what we can talk about tonight. And then we'll go offline and shoot a whole bunch of stuff for tomorrow and for later.
Secret. Switch 2 games, baby. Let's go. I'm kidding.
Switch
There
2
are
is
not
so
any
awesome.
Switch
There's
2
not a single
confirmed
Switch
games.
2.
Switch 2, I really liked how
Anyone
it
I
felt.
asked about it laughed at me, so.
I love how it felt in my hands, Damiani. It was so great.
Yeah, so we got a bunch because there are a lot of things that were embargoed until today
Yes.
that get shoved in here.
Shove it.
And then we had stuff left over from last night because we needed to go sleep.
Yeah.
So we're going to try to get through everything now. We're going to start it off. Hubert, you just played
Oh, yeah.
Star Wars Outlaws.
I did.
And
Fresh.
because I wasn't on the appointment, they sent me over the demo early. So I watched that
Nice.
early last week.
Cool.
So I saw pretty much what you played, although
Okay.
it was
Oh,
not
nice.
my playthrough. So
Yeah.
it's probably not going to match up with yours or
Yeah.
anything. Yeah.
I really liked it.
Good.
Straight up. Really liked it. Felt good. Looked good. You know what I'm not sold on immediately was the audio.
No.
Yeah,
What?
I think because I just came off of Jedi Survivor, the audio was so amazing. Something about this, dude. Like there was like a lack of music when I was kind of walking
Still tweaking,
around.
maybe?
Yeah. Something about the audio didn't really hit just yet.
Music note thing on
I
that
know.
side. What's
That's
that?
interesting because I from the music I heard, I thought that it was good.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
but again,
you know, demo stuff. Who
Demo
knows?
stuff,
Yeah,
always.
yeah.
You never know.
Yeah. I really liked it. I've seen some divisive takes on this game, in particular one because it's Star Wars, so everybody has an
Oh,
opinion. Everybody, no matter when you were freaking born, everyone is invested in some capacity. I feel like to Star Wars. It's one of the biggest properties on the planet. So yeah, I've just seen some takes where it's like, oh, it's not really doing anything new, and it's like, well, I don't really need it to do anything new, you know.
But it's doing
and
a lot of things pretty freaking well.
exactly
And also,
that is the take. Exactly, Bloodworth.
I think some of the things that it's doing differently with the or not just the Hutts, but the cartels in general, like, it's not done too much. Like
I
when you're
agree.
like dealing with these reputation systems and like rival factions and like who are you gonna, butter up, who are you
Yeah.
gonna upset, all of that.
Yeah.
Like that stuff, it's gonna take more than like 3 levels to
Totally.
see play out.
Yeah. So it was just very comforting. Like, this is a game I am just ready to consume, and like this is a game I'm at 100% Damiani. Like, I'm not messing around. Hutts all in. I will betray and murder and backstab every single faction in this game that is not the Hutts. But yeah, I played 3 different parts, and it's actually really excellent how different each part felt.
Yeah, so there's the 3 quests are False Flag, which is the one that's on the screen right now.
Okay, yeah, a little infiltration action.
Yeah, so you're in an Imperial base, and then we'll get to it probably, but it ends
Yeah.
with a dogfight. The Relic, where
Yep.
you're like
Yep.
infiltrating to reclaim this stolen item, and then the Wreck, where you're like scavenging this like crashed cruisers on like a jungle planet.
Ooh.
Yeah. So yeah, this hacking game is really tricky.
Yeah, I was wondering how this played because like looking at it, I'm like,
Yeah.
I can't tell what's happening.
It was really tricky. It's like a rhythm, so you have to it'll like beep, and then you have to like match that beep kind of. So yeah, that was really interesting. The combat felt really good. This is from the
good.
massive, makers of Division.
Yeah.
It just felt nice, straight up. It felt nice to shoot the red exploding barrels that we all love so much.
Of course.
It felt nice to shoot stormtroopers because come on, stormtroopers. That's near the top of the list
yeah.
for things we like to shoot, right?
Right.
And then just cycling between the like electrical one that's good against shields and droids, and then the basic fire as well.
Yeah, so there's the regular plasma damage, there's the ion, which is disables shields and does the droids, and then there's the stun. I don't know if you use that.
Yeah,
which is on
yeah.
like a longer cooldown.
Yeah,
You
you
can
just
like,
stun them.
non-lethal knock a guy out.
Yeah. Which and then you can pick up like traditional the Stormtrooper blasters and stuff.
Nice.
I really like the health mechanic actually. Little back to vials are kind of everywhere, of course, but you don't regen. So after a prolonged battle, I saw my health a little low, and I was like, use that vial, and then I was like, hey, I only have one left. But they are, they're around. So, but still, it made me think about it for a second. Then you do the infiltration, you're doing some hacking and some stealth, and it's classic Ubisoft stealth where you're, let's be real here, you're crouching like 3 feet away from a guy's side and they don't really notice you. Like, it's fine, whatever. But then you escape and get into the ship, and it was cool.
Yeah,
it was cool.
I mean, just the seamlessness of it. Again,
Yes.
like we saw it here in the B-roll, and now you're just out in this huge debris field, trying to lose the TIE fighters.
It was pretty tricky too. Just getting used to it. You get thrown into this, and it's like, okay, how do I do this? It's like you left stick will be accelerate and decelerate. Right stick will be more like camera angles and everything, kind of moving around that way. And then there's like a lock-on button, and that'll focus on some enemies. So there it is. So that's holding,
holding R,
holding left or whatever, and then shooting with R.
Okay.
Your guns overheat pretty quickly. I would imagine you can upgrade that stuff.
Yeah,
like this is a game about finding and consuming, upgrades and dopamine, like for sure.
Well, and they also talked about the contacts that help with different things. So I'm sure that there's some ship weapons expert that you do some deals with.
Totally. So that was the dogfighting, and then of course we flew straight into the planet, and it was autopilot Damiani.
Okay.
That's why.
So you'll come up to it. You'll come up to the planet, and it'll be like, "Do you want to land?" You click land or whatever, and then you can choose your spaceport on the planet.
Okay.
Got it.
So like Mos Eisley or whatever, you click it, and then it'll do it'll take control. You'll fly in, you'll fly, and then you'll land, and then you'll be on the planet.
And at least from what we saw earlier today and from the footage that I saw, it looked like they basically just sort of mask it by like, oh, you flew through a cloud, and then all of a sudden you're out of the cloud and you're on the bottom.
Yeah, totally. So that space stuff, it felt good. And I think what we were saying too when we were watching the Ubisoft Forward was that the fact that this space stuff is just a small part of this entire game, I think makes it so much cooler, so much better. It did feel a little simple and fine. I wasn't like blown away like freaking Star Wars Squadrons or Rogue Squadron or anything. It was pretty simple, but the fact that it's just this small piece to this whole game, I think, is just such a nice addition for a bunch of reasons, mainly variety. You know? So.
And it ties
cool.
things together.
And it ties it all together, flying
You're not just
from
teleporting or fast traveling.
Exactly.
Places. Yeah.
So really, really cool.
Nice.
Yeah. And then we land on this planet, and each of these sections, there were 3 sections. You have a 20-minute time limit.
Okay.
And immediately when I got to this planet, the demoist was like, okay, you're going to want to go straight and through that alleyway, and then you'll find the person you need to talk to. Yeah, well, I saw gambling. So I went left. Thank you very much. Nice. And immediately put a wager down on the horse races, whatever creature those are. I think aren't they from
I think
Last
this
Jedi,
one restarted
right?
if you want to switch to the next one.
So I immediately put 50 credits down.
Of course.
On that I lost, of course, but it was funny because when I lost to the character Kay, right?
For the gambling, I don't
her
know.
name, the main
Oh,
character.
Kay Vess, yeah.
Kay, yeah. Kay is like, you win some, you lose some. It's like pretty jolly. Then there was the video game, which I just saw an article was like, hey, this is the first canon showing of a video game in the Star Wars universe.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I thought about that. I was like, wait, is that true? Apparently it is. First video game in Star Wars lore. It reminded me of Arcade Paradise. It was one of those auto-scrolling, you're in this little like speeder thing and it's just automatically going straight, faster and faster, and you just move left and right. You have to dodge the obstacles and hit the boost pads.
It's a mobile game.
It was so fun. I had to just stop because I kept going and going. I was like, I feel like I'm good at those games. I was just like in the zone. The timer pops up. You have 5 minutes left. I'm just like, all right, I gotta stop. I gotta go. So yeah, that was really addicting.
Nice.
So just like, yeah, and I made sure to go into the little shops everywhere, little merchants selling cosmetic items and stuff. I really liked that.
Nice.
So just the vibe of being in Star Wars, I feel like, is on point.
Yeah. And then we've got the B-roll for one of the other demos
Yes.
now, which is the relic and this crazy,
Yeah.
snowy, almost
Ooh.
Himalayan-looking
Yeah.
zone.
And again, the variety here, where it's like, okay, I
Yeah.
was just on like a big space station. Now I'm in like
Yeah.
this Arctic planet. So it just feels like there's so much variety here. It was a stealth mission. Like I said earlier, the stealth here is pretty chill. I don't know how else to say it, but it's just those classic. It reminds me of Assassin's Creed when it's like they should be able to see me, but they don't. Like, it's very forgiving, I guess is the word. Very
Right.
forgiving stealth.
There's going to be a sequence where your companion, Nyx, was it?
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
going to do the play dead trick, and it's not going to work because word's gotten around and there's a creature who plays dead. Let's watch.
I hope it's that deep,
It's gonna be,
Damiani.
yeah,
I hope so.
it'll be a bit.
Yeah, I love that. I went into this place. I was stealthing around, and then I wanted to get into a firefight, so I started blasting them. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
I mean, they kind of set it up that way in this
Yeah.
too. In the footage, they start
Yeah.
going to town in a minute.
Yeah.
This big hideout that looks like an elk lodge or something, or like a ski
Yeah.
lodge. It's such a cool, different environment for Star Wars.
Yeah, it really is.
And then the third one, if you want to switch to
Yeah,
the other
yeah.
clip, is the wreck, which is this great jungle ruined ship, and they're like, I think they even says like, oh yeah, people don't go in there because it's too dangerous.
Yeah. And it's so cool again. Like, this game has so much variety, everybody. It's so cool because it's like, all right, I'm in a space station, then I'm flying in space in a dogfight, then I'm on another planet in a big shootout, and then I'm in another planet exploring. So
Yeah.
it's just like all of these different types of vibes and pacing are coming together to make what I think is going to be a pretty epic adventure here. That one, it was just a little more exploration, a lot of yellow ledges and grates reminded me instantly of Uncharted 1, just the feeling, even Jedi Survivor and Jedi Fallen Order, just like, shimmying and climbing. There is a grapple hook, and I did fall to my death a number of times,
Okay.
just not seeing a ledge or like swinging too soon. And then I started to realize, like, okay, let me sprint and then grapple for a little, more
Yeah.
speed and momentum. So yeah, like, if you've played Uncharted or Assassin's Creed, that's the feeling of it, which is cool.
Cool.
Nice.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
just a little more, some puzzles as well. There were doors that I couldn't get through, and you needed to find these little nodes, and then you shoot the nodes, and they would give power to the doors.
Okay.
And again, with
Yeah.
the hacking as
Yeah, because
well.
in the wrecked ship one, which it looks like we might not have the footage
Yeah.
for, you're supposed to like power up the generator in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you're like going through all these sequences of like climbing around on ledges and activating things like that. And
Yeah.
getting it started up.
It's always telling you how much money you have, which I love. Money seems like a big part of this game.
And the end of that one
Economy.
is when you meet the droid in the trench coat.
Yeah, I didn't really want to talk about that, but I did see the introduction of Gabby's favorite droid. And
ND5.
yeah, and I'm very excited for that character and just those bonds, that relationship. I'm really excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, and good banter, good characters. Like, she's a criminal.
Yeah.
So it's really cool. Like, she's a criminal, but she's not a murderer. You're killing stormtroopers, of course, but there's some non-lethal options. But like her, ludonarrative dissonance aside, if you want to get really technical and weird about it, but like in the cutscenes and just her overall energy is like, she's more of a thief than a killer. And I
Right.
feel like that's a big distinction. But it's cool because you are interacting with these, gangsters and other types of characters, and I just think that's, everyone always loves Han Solo and the smuggler,
Yeah.
the scoundrel, the bounty hunter vibe of Star Wars, and I think this game really has captured that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even like when you go in and they take the relic back to the queen, there's like
Yeah.
there's that little bit of tension of like, oh, are they gonna think that you're the one that just stole it originally?
Yeah.
And and you're just trying to pull one over on them. And
For
yeah,
sure. And yeah, but like I didn't get to, obviously in an hour, I didn't get to experience one of the most important things about this game, in my opinion, and that is the Paragon Renegade, the
right.
factions, the reputations
Yeah.
with how much does that change the game? That's a big question. Like because
Yeah.
you want me to live my Star Wars fantasy, like I'm all in with the Hutts. What does that playthrough look like versus someone who doesn't ally with the Hutts? Like, how much does that change?
Yeah. Like even the end of the false flag mission is like, I repay favors.
Yeah.
It's like, what is that?
Exactly.
What does the payoff look like?
Yeah. So very promising. I love The Division and Avatar, massive entertainment. So I'm very excited for this game. I cannot wait.
Yeah.
Very
Oh, what
comforting.
about the Deadeye thing? Did you mess with that?
Did not mess with the Deadeye, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
But it's very soothing, this game. It's just comforting, If you love Star Wars and open world games, like Brandon Jones is gonna eat this game
Yo, yeah.
up.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Red Dead, Star Wars with
Dude,
dogfighting?
yeah. Brandon
Absolutely.
Jones is like not gonna be able to sleep until this thing comes out. Yeah. So very, very, very fun.
Nice. And then you got to sit in on a demo for Assassin's Creed Shadows, which we also got to see during the conference. But
It looked so good in person. Oh my god. I did not get to play. I did not play it.
But what I want to know is how different was it? Was it a whole different thing, or was
So
it
it was
the
the
same thing?
same section.
Okay.
They went through it live though.
Okay, that's
we
cool.
saw them playing, but they added 2 extra segments where they went in through the front door.
Oh,
As-
they teased in this. Yes,
Yeah.
I saw that part. They went around. They went up. Yeah.
Yeah, they went in. They did the frontal approach with both characters.
Oh.
So they're like, yeah, if you want to
Whoa.
go in the front with him or her,
Oh, I get.
you
what
can
mean.
do this.
I get
Yeah,
what you mean.
you're
Okay.
not together.
I was
Sorry.
like,
yeah,
dude, I got it.
Yeah. Separately, they were like, okay, we're gonna do the front door with him, and then we're gonna do the front door with her, and they did. Yeah, visually, not streaming, it looked so good.
Yeah.
There's still the classic Assassin's Creed disconnect with some of the NPCs, they're just a little janky.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I even
you
saw
know,
that today in the thing.
yeah, just them like moving out of the way, just the way they, and I think one major criticism, because games now look so incredible, is I feel like that raises the expectations for everything else, like with immersion. So I kind of wish, I feel like such an asshole saying this, I hate this criticism, but I did feel it. This is how I felt, I'm sorry. I do feel like when you're fighting, I wish there was like maybe some banter. At least anything. It's just weird that like you roll up to the front gate and this enemy just like pulls out, a sword and is just like staring at you and like ready to attack, and then you're just fighting. There's no like, there's no like, hey, I'm gonna get you, or like, it's just weird. It's weird. It was
They don't
weird.
have it ready yet.
Yeah. So that was my only.
Yeah, but even from the demo that they showed, the first
Yeah.
fight that you get into was so like,
Yeah.
oh, we're just escalating from
Yeah,
this.
yeah,
Like I
yeah.
thought we were gonna go talk to this guy.
Yeah.
And try to intimidate him. It's like,
Yeah.
nope. Just as soon as we walked down the road, people started attacking.
Yeah. But it looked freaking awesome again, in motion, in person, like natively. When Yasuke hits the people with like the killing blow, their head came off. Their head just explodes, Damiani. Their head legitimately explodes. It was nuts.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the combat does. I'm coming around to it a little bit. It definitely looks like the best it's ever looked. But I think the stealth really has stolen the show for Assassin's Creed Shadows for me. Guns blaze. I love guns blazing. I love stealth. I love how visually impactful his stuff looks. We saw it today, him just bashing people. It's so striking. It's so intense. I mean, when they were killing people, everyone was just cheering because it looked so cool. But like gameplay, 1 o'clock in the morning, lights out, I'm immersed. Like, dude, sneaking through that's my jam with this. That's my jam. I feel like stealth looks so improved with the grapple, the prone, being able to hide underwater.
Yeah, that's really great.
The lighting, taking out lights. It just. Oh, and they said something that made me pause and think for a moment. And I really, like, I'm mad at myself for not even thinking about this ahead of time. They were like, Naue is the most ideal fit for an Assassin's Creed character we've ever had. Because she's already, like, shinobi ninja stealth character when really, and then I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, okay, wait a minute. Yeah, Ezio was just a random dude.
Right.
Connor was
he was like a rich boy.
I'm just like thinking about all the characters and how they eventually get thrown into Assassin's Creed. You know, like other than like Altair, who was like clearly born into this, like she is such a good fit because she brings those skills to it like immediately. So they were just hyping up like how perfect she is for this. They were talking about his past is very mysterious, and that's part of the journey of like discovering more,
right?
Maybe about him and what all that is about. His nickname is Nobunaga's Giant. They were, just in the trailer too, how he towers over everyone is so awesome. But yeah, pretty much just what we saw today. Just a couple different ways to infiltrate. Which I really appreciated, so if you like the last 3 before Mirage, Origins, Odyssey, Valhalla, go in guns blazing, you totally can, but if you want that classic stealth approach, that is
still there. All right.
Cool. So I'm so excited. And I don't think they played it during the trailer, Blood, but they had it at the event, the Assassin's Creed Shadows rendition of the famous Assassin's Creed song. It's one of my favorite songs. Ezio's Family, I think that song's called, right? Is like the original version of it. And they had like the Shadows version. It sounded so good. I was so hyped.
Sick.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Nice.
So, yep.
Awesome.
Good kills. Really good kills. Yeah.
Next up, I actually played this before this weekend. The Flintlock, the Siege of Dawn. They sent build over to me, and I spent about 3 or so hours with it.
All right.
And as they kind of said at some point this weekend, they like called it. Somebody called it like a Souls Light.
That's going around now, Souls Light. You know, ever since Stellar Blade, I feel like, because they were like, no, it's not a Souls game.
I don't remember who said that. If it was like something they said in one of the trailers or if it was in a showcase or what.
It's very Banishers. It looks so much like Banishers.
You think it looks like Banishers? Okay.
Yeah, I really do.
Spend enough time with Banishers?
I really do.
Okay.
But yeah, there's a lot of different systems and stuff going on here. Mm-hmm. The world is really different. They had a name for it because I remember when, like, a couple years ago when they first started showing it off, it's like, yeah, a lot of people like haven't really like explored, you know, this genre of fantasy or whatever. It's like powder punk or something along those lines. It's something like that, but I can't remember exactly what it was.
Powder punk.
But basically, it's like they have like somewhat simpler like gunpowder weapons. You know, they've got like pistols and muskets and barrels of gunpowder, and so like when you start the game, you're like in this sort of like trench warfare kind of situation.
Jeez.
And they're like fighting off of like all these undead monsters and stuff, and you're a hothead. Nora's a hothead.
Nice.
Like, she's a female Naruto right now.
Hell yeah.
And she's like, oh, my friends went off without me? Why did you send them without me? I want to be on that mission. Da, 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 da. And then she convinces the captain, like, all right, I'm going to go run and catch up to them. And they're like,
sick.
I guess so, if you want. Okay. But you have the hatchet.
Yeah, I love the hatchet.
And you have the pistol. And what's interesting
the titular pistol?
The Flintlock. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah.
Come on.
But so you can parry and stuff, but with the unblockables, you actually like use the pistol to knock them back. So it's sort of this kind of back and forth. And you have to get, I think, if you see at the little bottom, you see the little charges.
Yeah.
Those build up with melee hits.
Oh, okay.
So when you get enough melee hits, then you get one pistol shot.
Love that.
So,
So it's just that balance.
yeah.
That's great.
And then when you do catch up with them, there's like this weird, like, magical wall or whatever. And they're like, we don't know what's up with this thing. And then, like I said, she's a hothead. She's like, boom! She just blasts
shoots
it,
I
and
love
gets
this.
in, and there's this huge Sphinx thing.
Jeez.
And one of your dudes like almost dies from this thing, dude.
Oh my God.
And the B-roll will be behind me, but it's fine. But so you fight this crazy thing, and it's one of these unwinnable boss fights, right? Beginning of the game boss fights, and then you get knocked off because he like sets off he shoots like a big pile of explosive barrels, and then when you wake up, this fox thing, Enki, has sort of rescued you and dragged you into this cave, and he's like, all you dummies, that wall you destroyed was the seal that has been keeping the gods captive.
Oh,
and
shit.
now you've released them all.
Sick. That's a good premise.
And so he's like, I'm a god too, or whatever. And she's like, well, if you're a god too, then I want to kill you. And so she starts to go at him, and he like puts her in her place, like shocks her.
Yeah.
And says like, if you want to fight them, like you need me on your side. And so that's how he becomes your companion. And then his magic plus your gunpowder skills allows you to do like this traversal stuff. So it's like you can double jump by basically like causing an explosion, and air dash by causing an explosion, and stuff like that. And then you can also kind of like there's a sort of like stagger gauge kind of thing that you can do with like it's like a mix of him and your attacks. Yeah, basically, if you build up the meter, then they'll be stunned for a little bit, and you get a crit in. But and yeah, you can see it right there. And then there's a skill he just did a minute ago with like a tornado that takes a lot longer to build up.
Cool.
Yeah, there's like a lot of cool traversal stuff. Then you get into these towns that are like occupied towns, and it's sort of like the Witcher thing where you clear out the monsters, but you don't have to kill everything. What you need to do is you need to search for the leader.
Got it.
So you kind of like scout out the area and find the leader, and then that's sort of like a mini boss fight.
Cool.
And you take the leader down, and then everybody comes back into the town.
Sweet.
And
I love that stuff. Seeing it,
Yeah.
is so cool. I always love that.
And
What's that meter on the left I keep seeing? Like plus
which
plus 3%, plus
Oh
5, plus
yeah,
9.
so this is the Souls mechanic, and this is very interesting how this works. So it's called Reputation, and it's a sort of like it's like a combo essentially.
Got it.
So when you're attacking and even doing like traversal skills, like if you like slide downhill, you get a little bit. It'll bank. It's almost like playing SSX or something. So it'll bank. And then the more that you're banking, then there will also be a percentage that like gets added up to it. So you might have like 500 points plus 127% as you continue to attack and double jump and do all of these skills. But if you get hit, gets knocked out.
Got it.
So at some point you want to hit left on the D-pad to essentially bank your souls into your inventory.
Cool.
And then just like just like a normal Souls game, like if you get killed, then the stuff that's in your inventory will drop, and you've got to go pick it up.
Got it.
To get it back. Baz is one of your companions who's there at the campfire and does the upgrades and stuff for you. I am not 100% sure, but I think it's the same voice actor as Adam Jensen. I think it's Elias. So, yeah. Oh, and there's later on you get a musket, do some headshots.
Sniper
Here's a little
elite.
mini game for you, Huber.
Nice. Love mini games.
You move these coins around,
Yo, that
and you're
looks
like
fun.
trying to create a triangle shape.
That looks very fun.
And
That was
then
like checkers or something.
yeah, and then so there's an attacking turn where you're trying to make the triangle shape.
Yeah.
And then there's a defense
I
turn
see.
where you're trying to stop your opponent from making their triangle.
That looks fun, dude.
Yeah.
Shit.
And then I don't know if we'll get into it because I might not have given Don a highlight for it, but there's also these things called rift gates, and you probably saw them in the trailers, but they're like these little purple triangles that are in the environment, and you can basically with Enki just like fly to them. So you once you unlock like a group of them, then you can like fly through the environment and like get up to the tops of cliffs and things like
Yeah.
that. And so that's pretty cool for like finding little hidden areas and that kind of thing. You can also sort of like pull yourself up, do like a little mantling action to get to higher ground. But I'd say like the one thing with where it's at
Sniper
right
elite, dude.
the one thing that with where it's at right now is that it feels just like a little bit. The best way I can describe it is slidey. Like when I would like be platforming up to a thing, it was like sometimes it's like she would just kind of like go against the surface and it would look like you missed it, but then she grabs it like a little bit later. So it's just
yeah.
like it just feels like something that needs to be tightened up.
Got it.
And similarly, I had some things with some enemies that were similar towards like, oh, he just kind of like slid up onto like a higher bit of ground or whatever, and so it kind of like sort of messed with like my rhythm and timing.
Cool.
There's guys with shields that you kind of have to like parry at the right time, and then they yank their shield away. And then there are some like, there was like one like optional area where like I started going into it, and there were like these like blue like infected guys or something like that, and they were like way harder than the regular dudes. There are also like these freaking like chocobo kind of looking birds that will mess you up.
Nice.
They like jump up and like dive on you.
Love a chocobo.
But yeah, I think if it gets tightened up, I think there'll be some cool stuff there. You also get like little grenades that also like you basically have one grenade and then it recharges when you rest at the checkpoint. So figuring out where to use that. I got an axe that had like a fire element on it. And so it's like, okay. And then you could like, there's like a quick swap. So you can have like two main weapons that you can just swap between on the fly. So it's like, okay, this is like a slower weapon with more damage, but this one's got the fire effect. I can have both of those ready.
Classic.
Yeah. So good stuff. There's like I said, I played for a good 3 hours.
Jeez.
And
That is quite a lot.
yeah. But one that we played together, Huber, is
What did we
Akimbot.
Oh, Akimbot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ratchet and Clank, baby.
From the makers of Pumpkin Jack.
Yes.
Huh.
Pumpkin Jack's next little game here.
So they said a team of 8.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Core development
So
team in France.
small budge. It felt okay. I like it. I'm ready to love it. But it felt a little splashy, Isla. The tires felt a little splashy. So yeah.
That sucks.
That's it.
Some good platforming.
Yeah.
The humor was all right. I mean, there's like jailbreaks and gangsters and like Robogliani
Yes.
or something
Yeah,
is the
yeah,
villain.
I
Yeah,
got his name.
Robogliani.
There's like a mafia,
Yeah.
a robot
Okay.
mafia.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's
Yeah.
a robot mafia.
All right.
It's
It
very
is Robogliani. Yeah.
yes.
Send cease and desist right now.
Yeah. Again, yeah. It. You know.
But you both got kidnapped in the back of a truck. You break
Yeah.
out, and then like the
Yeah.
the flying guy ship set.
Yes.
There's EXE and there's ship set.
Yeah.
He's like convincing you to like
Yeah.
basically like, oh, follow me and I'll
We are swimming.
find you a way out.
That's
or
all I
whatever.
gotta say.
Yeah.
We are swimming, and again, it just made me think while I was playing it, like this is why I love swimming in sevens, because one, this game is cool. It felt a little loose or whatever, but then I'm just thinking about like, dude, then you have shit like Ratchet and Clank where it's like the best production values of all time and the most budget possible from a dev, It's like they cannot all be that level of quality, and if you limit yourself to only playing the best stuff, like you're gonna just miss out on so many great games. Like not everything can be a 10 out of 10. And they don't need to be. They absolutely don't need to be. Like this, Insomniac is locked down on Marvel and superheroes right now. So this is filling the Ratchet and Clank void. I know we just got, Rift Apart, like not too long ago, but I still really appreciate this game. You get currency, you're smashing boxes, you're getting orbs. There's a shop.
Huber immediately.
It was an accident.
He terrified the villagers.
I thought everyone was
He
a
saw
threat.
one thing moving.
Yeah.
And he went up and he smacked it.
And they all
and
started
everyone
running.
started running.
Oh no!
If it moves, kill it. It's like-
Huber.
I know.
That's
felt
okay.
bad.
That's okay.
I felt real bad about it. I mean, we just busted out of jail. I was like, dude, we're on the run now, so like everyone's a threat. But you have your melee, and then you have guns. You have your double pistols. We use an assault rifle.
But the thing you had a choice. So you picked
Yeah,
the double
you can
pistols,
pick your
which had
guns.
like a fire effect.
Yeah, and
They
you
also
can
had,
upgrade them with currency.
An acid thrower and like a
Yeah.
laser and a machine gun.
Yeah.
But what was interesting is like when you kind of like smash boxes and stuff with your melee attack, and then you could, I think it was Y to shoot your pistols,
Yeah, to bring them out.
and then later we also got like an assault rifle, which was
Yeah.
like more long range.
Yeah,
So with your
intense.
pistols, like smashing things recharged your shot.
Yeah.
But then with the long range weapon, it seemed like you could use it a little bit more, but because like you were aiming down sights or whatever,
Yeah.
you were more vulnerable to like guys coming in on you quickly and all of that.
Yeah.
The
Definitely on my radar.
algorithm put a bounty on my head.
It's definitely on my radar. I'm gonna say like this is a game I will definitely be playing.
Yeah.
My
It's a
ex-
game that you can play right now, actually, because the Steam demo came out today.
Try for yourself right now,
okay.
chat. Try for yourself right now. Tell me what you think. Oh, that is the number one thing that bothered me actually.
What?
One thing about this game really bothered me.
Oh.
And it's the camera bob when you're running.
Oh,
it is
yeah.
insane.
Yeah.
It is. I checked the
Turn it
options.
off.
I couldn't turn it off.
Oh no!
Yeah, it was.
Gotta add that.
It was.
You gotta add that.
It was.
Please add that.
And I'm just like,
Yeah,
oh.
these are the guys that Huber beat up right
Yeah,
now.
it was an accident. Not these ones clearly are having a good time. There was just a robot walking around. I was like, get him. Yeah.
Also, the good praise for the hacking minigames.
Yeah, constantly
Because-
changing.
Yeah, so this one is pretty simple, but every time we came up to a hack, there was like some other different little gimmick to sort out on the fly.
Mm-hmm.
So that was nice.
And then we had a boss fight. Blood, you took on the boss.
Yeah, that Robogliani came in,
All right. Okay.
flying his little chopper,
Cease and desist.
doing some bombing runs with some AoEs, Damiani.
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of AoEs.
Sounding a little real
bombing
shady
zone.
now.
Robogliani throwing AoEs.
Yeah. What's
dude.
up?
And then he would fly off and then like spawn a bunch of henchmen that you'd have to have come in there. But yeah, look at these guys with little
Yeah,
mafia hats
it's cool.
and pinstripes
Yeah.
and everything.
It's a cool game.
Yeah. Oh, and then sometimes you'd have like these health robots that you'd smash
Yeah.
to have to get health back.
Yeah.
It looks like this guy went the acid thrower.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah. I think it's good. I think it's
Same.
good.
I think it's a good game.
Yep.
For sure.
Nice.
All right. Next up,
Oh, yeah, there's a double jump and an air dash.
double jump and an air dash from the get-go.
Love it.
Gotta
From
have
the
it.
jump.
Yep.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know how you managed to dive into this, but next up, we got Path of Exile 2.
What? Okay.
I'm like, all right, dude, it's Path of Exile. I'll play for like 10 minutes and, whatever.
10 minutes.
Right? I'm like,
Okay.
I'll just feel it out, see how it is.
All right.
I look at my watch, like 35 minutes went by. I'm just like, But I'm almost leveled up again. Let me just stay for a few minutes more. Like, immediately addicted to the grind in Path of Exile 2.
boy.
This
They
is one of those
gotcha.
games we were talking about this morning with the Ubisoft Forward, right, Damiani, where it's like, cool, like a lot of their games go on for like 10 years, 15 years, and it's like, that's cool if you play that game, you know, it's nice that a game lasts that long and it's supported like that, but like, this is just such a sequel. You know, Path of Exile 1 is incredible, right?
And
Admittedly,
supported for
so
long that they had that going,
Yeah.
But it's like we always talk about how we want a World of Warcraft 2. Like, get on with it, you know?
And they did.
Path of Exile 2, huge step up visually. Attacking, everything felt so good. I mean, if you know this game, it is dark medieval fantasy, Diablo style, but very hardcore. There are so many skills to unlock. I mean, the skill tree is like 1,000 nodes, just like the first game.
They said they were going to make that more approachable, though. Did you feel that way, or is it still just overwhelming to look at?
I chose the barbarian, like, warrior character, and when I started to level up, it did look, because there were like 6 ways to go in this 1,000 node grid thing, but I think I was locked into like the bottom portion at first.
Okay.
So I think you have to like extend out first, and then you can start messing with. Because it wouldn't really let me. Like I tried to get something up there, and it just wouldn't let me, and then I had to like put it in the bottom or whatever. When you choose your character, it's incredible because they're all at the gallows. When you pick your character, they're at the gallows, and when you pick your character, all the other ones drop, dude. They drop dead. And then you like have to run and escape. Yeah. So very, very dark fantasy. If you love Path of Exile 1, I'm sure you already know everything about this and you're probably stoked. But also, again, like I was saying this morning, Damiani, of like Path of Exile 1 is like, it's been out forever. It feels unapproachable at this point, you know? So it's like, I'll just wait for the next one. Now it's like, all right, get in on the ground floor. Hop right in. Path of Exile 2, let's go.
Nice.
So this is absolutely top tier and definitely going to give Diablo 4 competition. And I think it's such an interesting time now because of Loot Reborn in Diablo 4 and Vessel of Hatred coming out as well. Like Diablo 4 now is back on the rise.
Right.
So it'll be really interesting to see. And that's great, you know, competition.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how both of these games change over the next, you know, couple years because they're both going to be around for quite a while.
And this co-op footage, I know you got to play only solo.
Yeah, just solo.
But the co-op footage looks so good.
Yeah, the co-op looks amazing. The creatures were cool. You have a dodge button. You know, you can roll out of the way of big unblockable attacks. I fought a big like brute boss. The skills were really fun. You know, I would do like a leaping slam. I had this move where you would hit him with normal attacks and then it would like put a little glowy bit on him and it was called like Bone Breaker. And then you could like do that and they would kind of like just like explode back. Went into a dungeon for a while. I was just like navigating this dark cave dungeon. So, I mean, yeah, you're feasting if you love RPGs like this and Diablo and Path of Exile 1. So, yeah,
Sick.
just sequels. I love sequels.
Sick.
I don't care. I love sequels.
Sick.
Yeah.
So here, I saw this months ago,
Yeah.
and so I wanted you to see it because I thought it'd be your jam. Unknown 9 Awakening.
Unknown 9.
I know you hate the name.
I don't like the name.
What do you think about the game now? You got to see it.
Didn't get to play.
Right.
Okay.
I am a big time sucker for games with a narrative in other mediums.
Okay.
So they had the
Okay.
comic book on the table ready to go. It's in my backpack. I'm gonna read. Little
Yes.
little
Okay.
prep action for Unknown 9. There's novels, there's comics, there's podcasts, you know? So probably an anime coming down the pipe. Who knows? I'm a little... I'd love you guys' take on this. I'm a little nervous about the lore, about just being thrown into this. You know, my mind immediately goes to Immortals of Avium,
Sure.
where it's like, from the jump, it feels like they think their narrative is extremely important. You know, it's just they're throwing 100 different terms at you. You know, the fallen have come from the land of the west and gotten the orb of light and the remnants of the first war. You know, just all this shit, and it's like, if you have a brand new IP or like the first big game, I feel like we need to start small maybe and like ease into it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it was just like really overwhelming with the lore and the terms. And the only reason I'm really
the
saying,
factions that are warring and all this stuff. Yeah.
and the only reason I'm thinking about that maybe is because I played Immortals of Avian pretty recently, which is a game I like. But the narrative, it just fell so flat because it's almost like they're treating it as a sequel. They're like, hey, welcome back. You know, all these terms and everything. Like, you love all that stuff, right? And it's like, I don't know any of that stuff. Like, what are you talking about? So, yeah, just finding that balance of like, you know, focus on her, dude. Focus on the character in this world instead of the plot and the insanity. I think that is how I would like to be let into this big sprawling narrative across all these media pieces. It's like really just focus on her, and all that stuff should come naturally.
Did you feel like that was a problem in the gameplay demo itself, or was that just from like
a bit of both?
Them like just
They were going
dumping
hard
everything on you before you actually got to see anything?
A bit of both, because and admittedly too, I mean, they jump into a gameplay part that's like, you know, halfway through the game,
right?
So that's kind of a thing too. But you know, I don't want this to seem like a criticism, because Swimming in Sevens is my favorite. You know this, so I'm not criticizing. I think like this is the exact throw a dart at a dartboard and it lands on a 7. That is my vibe for this game, and that's not disrespect. Like, this game is doing weird things with the combat of like jumping into people, and like it's really strategic. You know, jump into this person, they hit a red barrel, it explodes everyone. There's good like exploration, you know. She was like picking up little collectibles, but even those have like so much lore attached to them. One of my favorite things in video games is a good journal. And she opens up this journal, and there's all these hand-drawn characters that she's seen along the way with descriptions and the plot of everything. I thought that was lovely. So, you know, on the flip side, they really care about this world. So it's really going to be on us, I guess, to see how much we care about the world, because clearly they love it.
Yeah.
So
I think too, though, that like just the gameplay stuff, at least from what I saw, like, and I have no idea what you got to see, but the way that they were talking about, you know, a focus on exploration.
Yeah.
Kind of more, like, not fully open world, like, you know, specific spaces per chapter, per level or whatever.
Yeah.
But, like, the more you explore and find things there, then you get level up and you get your health expansion stuff and all of that. And it's, like, a little bit more classic stealth action adventure.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yep. Stealthy, adventure-y, explore-y.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, again, I'm in. I love video games, and I just love when things take weird swings, and this game feels weird. The world is weird. The gameplay mechanics are a little weird. Like, yeah, kind of like Slitterhead, I guess. We're bouncing into other bodies,
They're
right?
both very similar.
Like,
she's got a whole different set of limitations compared to Slitterhead.
Yeah.
You know, she's not like turning humans into time bombs exactly, but yeah. Nice.
So, yeah. Again, another one I'm looking out for.
All right, hard left turn. Damiani, you got to play Super Monkey Ball, Banana.
Oh boy,
Rumble.
This was fun.
I'm so jealous.
This was fun.
Damn it!
And this was a game. This was a demo. I had to had to keep telling myself, you only have so much time.
You gotta
move on.
Totally.
Move on. This is like the first brand new Super Monkey Ball, and like original new one in a long time. We've gone over this before. We really don't need to get into it. They're doing like, you know, adventure mode. They're doing new multiplayer modes in there. Like they got that in there. They got like challenges. They got a whole lot of stuff. They got cutscenes. They're voiced, but it's like their in-game voices, like animal voices, grunts and stuff like that. And yeah, they're trying to put forth their best effort for the return of an original new Super Monkey Ball. And I started with the multiplayer stuff because I wanted to make sure I got a little bit of time with that before jumping into some of the single player content. So I tried out it's like up to 60. I have the details here. 1 second. I believe it was up to 16 players.
That sounds right.
And I was playing against bots, so it was still very chaotic out of the gate because the start you're like already allowed to roll around behind the gate, so people are trying to get a rolling start, and you're bumping into everybody. It's like okay, this is pure chaos. This is not fair. I'm just gonna get destroyed. And honestly, the best thing was you're doing so well, and people catch up. They knock you off. Dude, you fall behind, and it's just such a pain in the ass to catch up. It was like, all right, bud, all right. So yeah, they're gonna also have 4-player online campaign mode as well. So you play up to 4 players online. You can do it solo, but you can also play with up to 4-player online. When you're playing with friends, you can turn off friendly collisions, so you don't bounce into each other and cause some chaos and stuff. Yeah. So those are two really cool things. But yeah, so I tried out the Mario Kart mode, and then I tried it was called goal mode, where there were gates you had to go through, and you got points, and it was your team versus another team. So yeah, they split your teams in half, and each one you went through, it added the amount you went through, so 50 points to your team total, and at the end, whoever had the highest score won. But there would be bonus sequences, bonus time, so these gates are worth more, and not all of them are it's not just a flat surface. There were ramps, verts to go up. They had all these obstacles that you could bounce around, and if you somehow were just so unfortunate you didn't get through any gate, at the end there was a pity one that just sent you, oh, here's 10 points, send you back. So they also had a few other modes in there, collect all the bananas, or hold the most bananas, you get the crown. It's Mario. It's all Mario Kart multiplayer modes. A little bit derivative from them. So I tried those out. Those seem like they're going to be fun. Great for a group stream environment. Oh yeah. But the single player
on the schedule for the end of the month.
Yeah, I was definitely ready for the single player, and it starts off. I did the first area of the very basic courses to get used to controls, because one thing they were touting is that they wanted me to tell them, do you feel the improved controls? Because they know in the past it's been a little bit difficult sometimes to really finally control your ball rolling around. And I will say, just after and you got a new turbo boost as well. Right. So I would say the combination of this spin dash, Sonic spin dash move, along with the camera controls, refined camera controls, and movement controls, I would say it felt it felt good. If I fell off, I was going too fast. I took a turn way too sharp. It was not because it wasn't responding to my turn. Yeah. I clearly was going too fast. And there were some really tight sequences in the later levels I tried out, and I'm like, this is great. I feel I don't feel frustrated with these controls. They felt very good. So I do feel they're feeling very good. I don't know if they nailed them, because I'm not the biggest Monkey Ball veteran. I haven't played all the past ones, but it felt really good, and it did feel like it was in control. So after that, I came across a level where there's a bunch of rails in the air, and a U-shaped rail. Yeah. And you go down them. It's shoot style, and then you keep going down like a roller coaster, and then there's the final stretch, and all of it's kind of making loop-de-loops up in the top area, and at the last one, and then it goes straight away for the goal. And I'm at the top, I'm jumping this. I'm jumping it. And I'm trying to and when you're holding the spin dash, you can change directions. When you let go, it's gonna charge that way. Okay. I got so close. I landed on the last piece of track for the game, and I should have let go of the controls. I tried to course correct a little bit. It was enough to send me just off, and I missed. I was okay, I gotta move on. Went to some more difficult levels, this Golden Temple area, and oh man, it got insane. It wasn't just just it wasn't just reach the end by like navigating a course. Some of them had objectives you had to complete. Like one of them was this like spinning course with the goal in the middle, but you couldn't get to it. I'm like, how, what? And you had to hit these 4 switches that were moving, and it would lower parts of the platform and change the stage so that you could reach the goal. Another one was just another spinning level with these spinning bamboo sticks, and you had to like hit them at the right angle to launch up to the next level, and you like alternate between getting hit by them to go higher and higher and higher till you reach the top. Another one was just like a goal was like swinging them on a crane back and forth and all the way across the level, and there were these ramps up, and you had to like find a ramp, wait for it, spin dash up it, and time it right to go in there. And that was like the only thing you had to do. But it was like so frustrating. And then yeah, they had like some really like intense levels with like lots of like holes, like the bridges would start collapsing the moment you touch them, lots of moving platforms. It was it just kept evolving, and it felt very challenging and fun. But yes, after I did all that, I went back to that little like cart level, like the mine cart looking level, and I pulled it off on my second try. And when I landed and I knew I had it, I was like, yeah! Like the dev guy was behind me, like clapping, like you did it. And it shows your scores and stuff. I still lost by like 0.005. And he over my shoulder goes, that's my score. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I was like, what?
Amazing.
But yeah, it was just so much fun going through the stages. You see, I mean, they have a lot of customization stuff as well. There's the stuff like that you can unlock. The Sonic characters are in there. They announced that already. So like Sonic, Tails, Amy, Knuckles are in there.
That's
so they've got a lot of stuff going on for it. Was there anything else? No. I think that's pretty much it. Yeah. It's fun. It's just fun. I cannot wait to play in multiplayer with a bunch of you, because we're just gonna yell at each other. Yeah. This is the level I was trying to find cheese on too right now. I was trying to like do it, and I eventually just settled for doing it. So this is one way. I'm like, nah, that's too slow. Yeah. I gotta find a way over the railing, like straight. I'm going straight and bouncing off this thing, and like I ended up just going down normally and almost still beat the time. I was like, okay. But yeah, it's just fun. That's the fun of this game, is trying to figure out what shortcuts you can get away with. And like
when you lose the time by like a second too, you're just like, let me go.
That's it. This is the course. This is the course I cheesed, and I did it. Yes, now you can see like right on this first turn, I held the spin dash. I was like, ready, set, go. Dad, you're doing it. That's what I did, except I made it. Yeah. I was like, yep, we're doing this, baby. So I must spend like 10 times trying it. But yeah, they gave up too. If you fail too many times, there is an option to just auto advance to the next course.
Oh, wow.
If you just want to move on.
Got it.
Super friendly.
Sick.
Hell yeah.
Now we're going to get Isla in here, because Isla and Damiani both played this game that I don't even know what it is. It's called Critter Cafe.
Oh, yeah.
Were there witches and frogs?
And when I booked it, it was just like unannounced game. So
what if you do one more and then do that one, because I'm eating dinner?
Oh, you're eating dinner. Okay.
Next.
Okay, we'll
do a ranger.
Swap 'em. I'll do a ranger. So let's get a ranger in there.
This looks fun.
Yeah, this is really cool, and the parallels to Paper Trail, which I just finished, are definitely there, and it is like it's in the sense that this is a game that looks like it has a simple little mechanic, and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I get it, I know what I'm gonna do, and then not very long into it, you're like, wait, what? What am I supposed to do here? But essentially, the way it works is that like the way that she moves, and this is very particular to her character, is she shifts the world around like a slide puzzle, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so anything that's on that line, if you're going left and right, or if you're going up and down, shifts along with you. And so you have to traverse the entire world this way, and then you have to get things to other areas. And so like one of the like simple things that you see in the trailer is like to attack enemies. Okay, there's a sword, so you kind of like move around to where the sword is in front of you, and then you get the sword into the enemy before you get there, and then you kill the enemy, and then you can move on, right? But one of like the craziest like very early things that you learn is that on these rows and columns, they also wrap, like you're going around the globe kind of thing.
Yeah.
So if you go a space to the right, you'll come in on the left side. And that was like one of my first like stumpers is like, okay, because there are also items that they're afflicted by this thing they call in the game called static. And so these things can't move. They're just locked in place. And so if you try to slide through them, you just can't go anywhere.
Okay.
And so you get this like wall of like 3 boulders and like, well, I can't go this way. But because of the way that she can wrap around things, you go to the right and then you pop onto the left side of the boulders.
Looks fun, man.
And it's interesting because it's like if you rework your brain enough, it's like you can actually like kind of shortcut your way through areas because of like there's a long path here and it's like you go up, but then rather than going down the long path, you just like go one left and then now you're over here, you know, and then go up and now you're down here and just and the traversal and stuff there, and again similarly to Paper Trail, like you're this girl who is getting ready to leave the home village or whatever, go out on an adventure, which is interesting because that's the same kind of like setup of Paper Trails. Like you're leaving home, and all of that. But with this, it's funny because some of the early quests that you have to do is like you have to find someone to take your junk because you're leaving like this essentially like not quite orphanage or whatever. It's just kind of like a like group home kind of setup. And she's like, okay, well, if you're leaving town, you can't keep your stuff here, right? So you go around to a different couple people in town and see who can take your stuff. And the mage has you like clear out of the basement, and that's where you learn to use the swords. There's also you see him in the trailer, but there are like these like big like stone or metal feet things, and they're essentially like weights, and so you have to shift to get the weights onto the switches, and then like that opens up other paths. But the thing with those is like figuring out the right arrangements, like what moves that you need to do, because it's like you try to get like if there's like 2 on the same row, it's like okay, you try to get a new one up there, and it's like oh, I just slid the other one off when I'm trying to get the second one on. And then what else is there? There's like moving keys into locks. There is moving yourself around also moves other people around, and so like there's a part where like there's a girl on a ladder doing something on a building, and you shift and like you break the ladder and knock her to the ground.
Fun.
There's a part where you need these bells to like open a gate, and one of the bells is broken, and so you end up back in town, and then like you have to like find this cat because the cat has a bell on its collar, and then you can use that bell to replace the other.
How long is a stage, bud?
I mean, so far it's not presented in like a stage.
Oh.
It's like you're just going through the town.
Gotcha.
Doing the next, essentially like kind of like quest. Like okay, go over here and like find this house or
that
whatever.
That makes sense.
You know, and then you go into the tunnel, but you can't get through the tunnel at first.
Yeah.
And then there's a boss fight. And this was wild because it was like there's like this big like sludge eyeball monster, and then like this big pile of like swords, and you're trying to find the pattern to essentially it's essentially like the opposite of Snake.
Got it.
So like Snake, you're trying to keep the snake from hitting itself. And
that was one of the hacking games in Akimbot. Snake.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And in a Ranger, like you are trying to like make the snake wrap in on itself.
Love that.
Trying to get the boss to like conflict with the swords. And it was funny because like I did the first couple of rounds. Oh yeah, and like every time you hit it, it would get longer. It would like or longer or shorter or whatever. And so I did the first couple of rounds like okay, I get this. And then I got to like the last hit, and I was like, I was just kind of running circles, and I'm like, what am I doing wrong? Like I don't see how to make this work, and I don't know what I'm doing wrong. And then essentially, like eventually, I just kind of got it. It's like okay, there we go, boss dead.
Chill.
And that's the artist from Braid. They got a good music composer on there too. And
Puzzle game I'm hyped on.
yeah, and it's soon, July 25th,
Great.
coming out. Now it's time for the Critter Cafe.
Aha! You played this one too, Damian?
Well, I got to.
They showed it, yeah.
Yeah. So
I played it a little. She let me walk around a bit.
No frogs?
they're fictional
fancy.
critters, so they're not real critters. Yeah. So think of it like
Got pals.
like Pokemon-esque, but not quite. But yeah.
Do you go by Mike on MinMax? Not Huber?
Everyone calls me something different over there.
Because someone in chat just went, hey, it's Mike from MinMax. And I was like, what the fuck?
Different names
Yep.
for everybody, I
Oh
suppose.
yeah. Well, we talked about that when we had the Hangouts stream, right?
What's that, Daniel?
Yeah. Yeah. Rebecca was
Dan?
thought it was weird that people call me Bloodworth. Yeah.
Dan.
When your
Dan.
name is Bloodworth, how do you
yeah.
not?
How do you not?
Dang.
Blood or Bloodworth, you know? Anyway,
This looks
sorry, Critter Cove. Critter
cozy.
Cafe.
Critter Cafe.
Cafe.
Yeah. So you're basically running a rescue cafe for critters. And
Rescue Cafe. Okay.
Yeah. So you run it during the day, so you have morning and afternoon. Nighttime, cafe closes, but you can do some other stuff.
Do you ever have to turn critters away because you're all booked up?
So there is
Nice.
they said that there's a physical limit on how many could actually be there, but yes, that's I don't think what you're thinking of is actually going to happen like that. Described as a cozy cafe.
yeah.
There it was, and when I looked at it, I was
Classic.
like, okay, so you're just rubbing it in at this point. Yeah, you're starting a new life on this island, and so that's the occupation you decided to go through. They talked a lot about customization, like customizing your character, like putting out like the furniture and different
Yeah.
stuff for the cafe.
You can change your clothes, your appearance at all times.
Yes,
You're just a little chibi character. Like, nothing has a gender, you know. It's just like you can change your hair and clothes whenever you want. Like, look however you want, anytime you want, which is cool.
You can do all the furniture customization when the shop is like closed, and then you approach the counter, the main counter, and you can like start the opening of the
Yeah.
store, and then customers will come in, and then you will have like critters in there as well, and the critters are there to keep the customers happy
Right
as
click
well.
and say loop, Don. It should.
Oh yeah. You also can take on
Yeah. It just got unclicked.
request?
There you go.
from certain customers, like fill their coffee back up. It takes on the form of like a little simple mini game.
It's like Dave the Diver. That part.
yeah,
Okay.
yep. And then there was the part about I think the other I'm looking through my notes, but the other thing that definitely came to mind was about rescuing critters. That you go out into the actual world and like the environments, and like you can go explore and like do a bunch of other things, but
Yeah.
you'll eventually come across these portals within these specific regions, and when you enter them, it's like a very dungeon light environment where you mainly are going to be solving puzzles. A lot of it they showed
Push
off
blocks and-
push blocks.
Smash crystals and
Yep.
move things into place to get to the other place.
And then you
Yeah.
get to go befriend a new critter who will, come home with you, and you've rescued them, which is,
And you level up your bonds with
Yeah,
each
it-
critter.
it's not like no skills or abilities. It's just your bonds. Yeah.
And they like the critter. It seemed to me like the critter would level up, and you would like. I don't know if you unlock stuff or if it changes somehow, but it levels up.
The cafe levels up. I know that they showed
okay.
that, and that unlocks like new furniture and items you can use. And I think there's something about maybe customization with the critter. I think that unlocks when you level up the bonds. Another thing about the cafe, real quick, that I forgot is you can organize like events there as well. So like bookings, you can schedule bookings for parties or movie book clubs.
So when you go to the front desk, you're like behind the counter. The register is open cafe, and then customers show up like you're seeing right now in the thing. You go up to them and they're like, "I want this," and so you do a little mini game. The other book, the book there, if you go to the book, it's do an event, and someone will have like, "I'm gonna have a birthday party. I'm gonna have a book club or whatever," and then they'll say like, "I have a preference for these items," and then you can select the items. From your inventory, and including a critter, if they have a critter preference, like a kind of critter, and the better you do on that, the more satisfied they'll be with the thing, and you get more stars for that and more like level up in bonding. You can't like fail. Like nothing is ever.
Yeah.
Nothing's ever like
yeah, it's like
Nothing.
negative.
Even if you like
Yeah.
screw up or like don't match or do a low rating, they're still like, hey, it was a nice party. You know, like
Yeah.
Cool.
you know. But you'll just get like better, like more bonds, more level up, whatever it is. If you do it the way they want it. I'm trying to see. Oh yeah, if you use a critter in the morning, it's tired in the afternoon, so it keeps you like rotating through critters.
Okay. Yeah.
When the cafe levels up, you can use more critters, I think. Yeah.
Any Tamagotchi take it as I go type thing on the road?
Not that I saw. No.
Okay.
Not
Nope.
that I saw.
Nice.
It was cute.
Yeah.
I don't know. The graphics are really nice. It has a very like. I feel like it's. You know, it's the cafe management part of Dave the Diver, but really stress free. It's the customization and character customization part of Animal Crossing: New Horizons, but like really stress free. It's like light exploration, you know, light puzzle solving, and just hanging out with a bunch of
Enough
little
to get your
critters.
brain
Yeah.
kind of working a little
Like
bit.
it-
Yeah.
Fully just like really cozy.
Yeah.
Like just come in here, relax, like hang out.
Feels like it's meant to be played like, you know, small chunks, like a relaxing game. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked it. It was cute.
Nice.
Love that.
All right, Damiani, tell me what you think of Italy Souls.
Italy
Souls. I
Souls!
downloaded this demo. I still have not had the time
Enotria.
to play.
Oh, where'd my binder go?
I have it installed at my house. I want to play.
Yo, they give you like a
They gave me
whole
a
book over here.
giant binder.
Oh
here.
my
I thought
God.
this was theirs, and they're like, "This is for you," and I'm like, "Wait, what? Isn't this yours?"
Damiani, do
This is like
your
their-
Enotria homework now.
like-
This is for you.
They don't like Italy Souls,
Okay,
though.
so they
They're
don't like it. It's
here
not
we
Italy
go.
Souls.
Here we
it's
go.
Summer Souls.
Summer
Here, like, I don't know if you're allowed. Does it say you're allowed to show this? I won't show it to them, but like, let me. Where was it? The page. I gotta show you guys because I showed it to Huber. I think it's like the first.
I'm in,
page.
dude.
Yeah. Anyway,
I'm in.
it is their take on Souls-like games. I got to play a boss rush mode.
Right, yeah,
Okay,
because
here,
they had
there,
they had
see.
the public demo and then they had this boss rush
Proof.
demo that's
There you
here.
go, proof. See,
Summer
Summer
Souls.
Souls.
Show the camera.
I don't know if I'll show this on screen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but-
Yeah.
Okay,
It
just-
does say
it's
Summer Souls.
Damiani's homework.
Yeah.
It's not for you.
Yeah.
He can't.
Yeah.
You can't cheat off of his notes.
Okay, there is a lot to
Wait, is
this. Let me
Pinocchio
get my actual
Italian?
written. I had written notes. I have written notes. Okay, so it is a Souls game. It's set in like a setting of Italy. So you can see the Italian influence.
You can.
They have a few things that are very similar to Souls. Like they have the equivalent of bonfires. They have their equivalent of like souls. They have like leveling at the bonfire, which will increase your stats. However, they've made it simplified. You put points into fewer things, and it like increases more things. So it's like not as you're not inserting as many points into like larger categories. It's like they bundle a few together, but you basically have like physical, offense, defense, elemental, offense, defense, and then you have like the
Physical offense, defense. All I need. GG.
to carry more stuff. What's it called again? The,
Oh,
Encumbrance, equipment.
no, that's
Weight limit.
weight. Like
Yeah.
so it's going to weight, so you don't become. I don't think it's necessarily encumbered. Just like it lets you
Endurance
Carry,
or-
yeah, and
yeah,
carry.
sure.
Yeah, so they have like those basic
So are
categories.
different armors of way different amounts and stuff?
So I didn't really get time to look
Okay,
into like that, but if you're looking at the HUD, so you have like your healing, you have like your top row of items, your bottom row of items,
Yo,
just
that's sick.
like
that's
up,
cool.
up on the D-pad, down on the D-pad. Some are healing, some are cleansing, some are buffs. Yeah, you have like one that like will just there was one that was like a steal HP move, which
Okay, yeah.
they could
Love
also
those.
use, which is like a risky thing. The right side you were seeing are your basically your magic lines, they called them, and you set those. They're based on like I believe your no, that's not right. They're based on like skill trees. And there's like 67 skills with 4 different paths that you can do.
Whoa.
you also the mask. The other big part about your gear set, your mask
Rip 'em
mask
off.
all have passive abilities.
Yeah.
Okay, I was wondering about that. 'cause
So
I
you
saw some
change.
with, like,
So you
multiple
load
masks
for the
and all that.
loadouts. You change. I changed my mask, and they would have a different loadout. So you have 2 weapons per loadout, and then your mask, and then you have your magic lines that you can use there, and then you have your items, and that's like kind of all your moves. You have a light attack, you have a charge attack, you have a parry button, you have you don't you got roll, you got jump, and then I believe you have. I don't think you had like a transfer. I didn't see a transformation, but I think there might have been one. I just didn't do right because you know how like the L2, but L2 did. Oh gosh, I forgot what it did in this one, but did not do like the same thing for that. I noticed that because I was hitting
dry.
it. Yeah, I was hitting it a little bit, like hitting it accidentally a few too many times. Like nope, wrong button. That doesn't do what it does in Souls. So slight like little bit of learning curve coming off like Souls, Elden Ring. I was like, oh yeah, one button does not do the exact same thing. Handling. So it's very analogous. They have their own terms for a lot of stuff, but it's pretty much their take on it.
Yeah.
And this is the first
Did you
boss I
fight
actually
Curtis?
fought. So this is who I fought. I actually fought Curtis.
Prince of
I
Laughter.
did beat Curtis. So that's one of the
Correct,
magic
Curtis.
lines abilities they use there. They have it's like Sekiro style. For the poise break. No, the meter, where you have to build it up, not deplete it. So it's not like breaking poise. That way you build it up and then they like kind of like keel over. You can do your big thrust attack. Parrying, you can just hold up and for long, like you can hold it longer. It's not like you don't like perfect timing obviously won't cost you stamina. But like when you don't perfect timing, it's just gonna cause you stamina. Okay. But I was like not taking a lot of like damage, so that was kind of like a nice trade-off. But and like the enemies were like the boss was very aggressive. So it had like a 1-2 hit, a 1-2-3 hit, a 1-2-4 hit, and it was like having to learn the rhythm and the patterns of that and getting it down. There was like pillars in that arena that you could kind of hide behind. So the boss had 2 phases. First,
just dancing around.
I didn't really get to find any of the remedial enemies. Again, it was just a boss rush. So Curtis was the first one. You come into his room, he like leaps off or lunges forward right away and tries to like lunge at you with like his spear weapon, and it's pretty straightforward fight for the beginning. Handling wise, it felt okay. I was the dash back button. Then like roll away felt like as Blood said, like slidey, splashy. It was like a little too fast, and like I felt like I was backing into a corner and not realizing I was in a corner, or I couldn't move. So it was a little bit like a camera work issue possibly. And then his second form, he gets like this magical shield, and it inflicts. So you have status ailments in this game, obviously, just like in Souls, and it was inflicting dizzy. You're seeing the icon literally right now, and when it fills up, you have the status, and you gotta wait for it. You can purify it with an item as well, just like in Souls, but. You get hit by one, only a few of those hits, it builds up, and now you have that status ailment, and it's just miserable when you have that. I was able to defeat that boss. Took a few tries, took like 4 or 5 tries. And then the second boss was like this crazy wizard thing that had like these blood orbs that would shoot out in like this kind of like circular environment. So it was more like, I went to like kind of like a arena, kind of like a, I don't know, like what is it when they have like a not like a court, like an old fashioned, like, not like a coliseum for battle, but like a courtroom, but circular, where everyone's in the stands around you,
okay,
and then someone's sitting, this is literally it. Sorry, okay, never mind. Okay, it is just a coliseum. My memory's bad, so this looks like a gothic, inspired kind of coliseum here. This boss wrecked me because it had this like status ailment that was just like destructive, like this like bleeding thing that has caused you to have like constant damage over time. And everything I was trying like jump attacks. That was one thing I didn't figure out. You can sprint in the normal game, but when I was like locked on, I couldn't like sprint at the enemy because I want to do run jumps. But you could do jump attacks. You can like get perfect dodges, like within the frame windows for a few of the attacks. You can be below some attacks. Depending on like one weapon I was using was a big broadsword, like the Cloud's Buster Sword. Let's just be honest. And I was like doing an overhead charge, and he did like a 360 swing at like chest level, and it hit me. But then I used like a smaller kind of like rapier sword, and I was down low, like charging up, and I was under the swing. So your different weapons, I think, give you different like like postures basically that might be able to escape a hit. That was the skill tree thing you were seeing there. It was chaotic. I was not very well practiced.
The traditional demos out now.
Yeah, they have
well
I would recommend. I don't know if they're gonna put out the boss rush, but like probably start with like the traditional demo and get used to it, because it's you could toggle between your weapons on the fly as well, but also the mask.
Yeah.
You can change
You rip
between your
them off, I
loadouts.
saw from the
Yeah, you
boss
can
when you
change
beat
your
the boss,
loadouts.
right?
So like they're giving you a lot more to work with here, I feel like. So it's just you got to get used to these different weapons and their play styles, honestly. I feel like maybe sticking to one weapon or loadout is probably not going to work out. They did explain.
Yeah, I mean, they're just showing there where you could have like 3 at the ready and just swap between them.
And you swap between them. Yeah, that's like kind of the rhythm that like I found out a little bit too late. Disappointment. I could not stay for the entire time. Actually made me late to my next one because I was like really trying to beat the second boss because it was starting to click. I'm like, but I gotta go now. I'm so sorry.
That's the tricky thing with like some of the communication is like, I thought we had a half-hour appointment, and then later they were like, oh, it's an hour. I'm like, well,
I think like 2 bosses might have been like fine for 30 minutes. There are 8 total weapon classes. There's also like equipment upgrades. The +1 it's literally like you need the same material. You need their version of souls. Yeah. When you hit the cap, you need a better item. And it's literally just that again. Anything else here? There's you have a parry gem, so your parries can have different properties as well. That I didn't really get too much into, but yeah, another thing I felt bad about.
Carry counter though, right?
Not that I could see, and I felt really bad. I just felt like I didn't have enough time because, especially, I'll be honest, I did not play this at all before I jumped in. I really wish I could have got more familiar with the magic line abilities, because I think that would have made things a lot more like manageable during the boss fight, because they seemed pretty important to use, because there were some attacks I'm like, what do I even do here? Because my basic roll dodge, and I can't just attack out of it. Do I have like a special? And then like clearly you have all these like special moves you're supposed to use as well. And you see the cooldown charges goes around the edge of the diamond shaped stuff. So yeah, I mean, it's like I didn't play enough to really say anything quality wise, other than controls I felt could have been a little bit tighter. And I just, to be fair to the demo, I really just wish I had an opportunity to play something basic, maybe instead of a boss rush, play an area and then lead up to a boss. But as I said, they do have a demo out.
It's also kind of cool that they were confident enough to be like, yo, play some of these bosses. Like that's such a big part of these games.
To be fair, there's another person playing on the couch adjacent to me, and they were screaming in triumph when they beat one of the bosses. I obviously didn't get up and see which one it was, but they were just going nuts, and it's got that feeling. So it's got different vibes, different atmosphere. So if you're looking for something that's different from the bleak gothic horror or the bleak demonic horror of FromSoft,
the sun shining.
Now you can get the bleak sunny horror.
It's set during summer, so cool. I mean, very vibrant color palette, so very good to see. Fun stuff. That's the shield looking, that pink shield. That's what that boss thing had. So it's infused with an elemental. So Milano was the green one, which is like poison. So they
any multiplayer?
I didn't check. That's probably already publicly available, but cool. I was just playing boss rush.
Got it. Cool.
Nice.
Sick.
Nice. Huber, I'm curious how this is once human.
Dude.
You got to check this out. This could go either way. I don't know. What is going on with this game?
This game's cool. This game's not for me. This game's cool, but it's not for me.
Okay.
Prolonged laughter. Yeah. This game's cool. That was very funny to me.
So this is a lifestyle game. They zoomed out of the map and they were like, to walk from here to here will take 50 hours.
What? All right, out,
Yeah.
out.
Start there.
Yeah.
Out.
Why did you
Yeah.
start?
Was that
my
the
God.
first thing they spoke to you?
Just about, yeah.
Oh my.
all right, here's the map.
What?
And I misheard. I was like, wait. I'm like, oh, 5 hours. He's like, no, 50 to walk
Okay.
from here to there.
Well,
So
thankfully you
I'm
have a
just like,
motorcycle, I guess.
okay. Okay. So if you're into that, it's a survival game. What was nice though is that the shooting and the melee felt good.
That's good.
And the
That's
art
good.
style. The art style is nice because it's like this ruined post-apocalyptic. There's like diners everywhere and just like the look and the feel of everything.
Did the diners run away from you?
No.
We see the walking
Yeah.
house in the trailer.
Yeah. So the look and the feel was great, but
Fast food, Huber.
Fast food, yeah, literally fast food. That's hilarious, but there's vehicles, so that will alleviate the 50 hours, I presume, of walking.
Yeah.
You ride your motorbike.
It'll probably
Yeah.
take you 50 hours to walk around the Nürburgring too. I'm sure.
Yeah. There is this game is just hardcore. Everything about it is hardcore grind. They are hyping up the grind. They want you to grind. They're already talking about seasons and things down the road. This is a game you commit a lot of time to. But most importantly, for something like that, if you're going to commit, the stuff felt really good. There's big time house building. You can build when you clear dungeons and bosses and stuff. You can get blueprints for stronger weapons and also additional things to build onto your house.
Okay, there you go.
So that's really cool. So one of the cool mechanics too was these creatures you can get in your backpack.
Yeah.
There was one right there. It's like this. It's insane. It's like this little teddy bear.
Oh, that's what that is.
Yeah, it's like a
Okay.
teddy bear with sunglasses, a cigar, and a top hat, and a pistol. And
Seems
it's
so out of place. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
What is that?
So you can summon your pet. And your pet will help you with bosses. I summon the bear, and it's just shooting at the boss. It's really cool. So the game has a pretty unique style. Again, but it's really hardcore and definitely a hard game to demo for 20 minutes.
Yeah. Oh,
Because this is
yeah.
a game where you probably play for 5 hours and you feel like you didn't really do much because it is so long term.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had a melee axe and I was hacking enemies as I do, and machine guns, pistols, your standard stuff. But settle into this one if you're feeling it. But if what you see here intrigues you, just know that when I played it, everything felt good. And there's co-op. They're committing to this thing long term, they said. I really liked the dev I was talking to. Really knowledgeable, just really, really cool guy and really passionate about it. So, coming out real soon.
That's real soon, yeah.
Real soon.
July 9th.
Yeah. Oh, he said there was a Steam beta, right now. Limited beta, and if you hop in, you get some free shit. So,
Nice.
if you're curious, hop in there for sure and see what it's all about. But yeah, very, very intimidating game for sure.
Damiani, how intimidating is Sonic X Shadow Generations?
Oh man, Shadow's intimidating. That attitude, the bad boy of the Hedgehog series.
Yeah, we were trying to sort out what was going on with this from reading the descriptions in the press release. So how was it?
So yeah, they had the demo there for Sonic X Shadow Generations. Had 2 stages from the Shadow campaign. So that's gonna be a standalone own campaign. It's running concurrently to Sonic Generations. Apparently, it was described chronologically.
So they've got a parallel storyline?
And it's also about Shadow revisiting past stages from his famous
Here
games.
we go,
Yes.
Sega.
Yep. So
Here
Shadow.
we go.
So obviously, I dive into the Shadow stuff first because it's the new stuff. Because the Sonic stuff is literally just the Sonic
Generations.
stuff remastered.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Generations rules.
runs a great frame rate.
good.
Yeah, it looked great. It was very easy to pick up and play because I've already played the game. And first try on Green Hill 1 and 2. Green Hill 1's a side-scrolling version with the new site new 2.5D visuals or 3D visuals, whatever. But side perspective, and then the second stage is the 3D going forward on, like, not on rails, but some sections are on rails, and got S on both of those because it's like, I know these
We've been
stages.
here before.
Music, the same music, like classic
we grew up
version
here.
of Green
We grew
Hill.
up in this zone, bro.
The ska version for the 3D. It's like, this is great. Big band meets ska, like just blast and love that version. So it had all the goods there. Like that, I know is a known quantity. So I did that once just to make sure it felt like I remembered it.
Yeah.
And it was the perfect stage. Like, okay, it verified. It's still good. Perfect. Shadow stuff.
Here we go.
All right. So the first, so we had a stage to try out and then a boss fight.
Okay.
And I got to go through them twice because I was a little rough on my gameplay the first time through because I'd never played a Shadow game before. And the boss fight, I was like, what do I need to do here? What do I need to do here? So still kind of figuring out some mechanics. But on the second playthrough, once I understood the basics a little better, smooth as butter, like getting through them. So it's all a 3D perspective for Shadow. You're mostly going forward. It looks like there might be some like perspective shifts to 2D for just a split second, but side scrolling, not 2D. But it is what you're thinking of. It's going forward. It's Shadow. He's got like these doom powers as well, so like he can ride, he can burst. This thing you're literally seeing right now for that split second was a transition in this stage later on, where it looks like it's like everything's tessellating. So Black Doom shows up and he this tentacle looking monster, and he's like taunting Shadow and transforms the stage, so it all tessellates, and then you're into a different part of the stage, and like lots of different paths. So you got to keep your eye open for like different ways to go. They have like the homing attack still. You have a doom power that they let you use that will let you slow down time. And at key moments, if you didn't slow down, things were just moving way too fast. Like rockets were firing off, missiles were going off, and like you're never, even with Shadow's speed, you're not getting through there. But when you slowed it down, it's like, I can hop off onto these rockets and then make the jump, or they're going vertically. I have enough time to jump the gap. So it was about charging that up. So it was like a meter you had to charge up, and it bought you like 5 seconds. And then you had like your boost that would refill as long as you got rings, and you could keep holding down that boost button. It just felt like you were going really fast, and it maintained that really good sense of speed. And I didn't really feel like, other than on my second playthrough of each stage, it just felt very natural. It felt very fun. And the music, the music was fantastic in this as well.
Nice.
It's honestly probably what you expect, what you've seen from like the footage, and just verifying it plays very well.
Yeah, good.
And like
that
was just one of the Doom powers. I didn't get to see any others, but in the boss fight, Bio Lizard, this giant lizard boss had 5 phases to it.
5 phases.
But once you knew what to do, like on my second playthrough, they go really fast because you just have to get off one attack on its weak spot.
Okay.
And you used your Doom power basically to evade fast-moving attacks. So its first phase, its head's like it's a lizard, but also like a little bit like turtle-like too. So its head would come at you really quickly, and it's a circular arena. So you're trying to run away from it. Then all of a sudden, like on a dime, changes and the tail's coming at you from the other direction, so like you got to reverse. So if you're fast enough, you can obviously change directions, but you could hit that slow ability and buy yourself some time. Then it starts like smashing the ground with like AoEs, multiple overlapping AoEs, and like you can just dodge. You can dodge them. I mean, he's got like a double jump. He's got all the things you expect, and you're like attacking its legs. And I like these like pustules over these big, disgusting pink things. You disable its leg, then they spread out all into the air. Then you air dash at all of them, and hit its like core on its back, and then you damage that, and then you see it like its the main life going down, and like. So it's phases of that, and then the final thing, he goes up into he's hanging on the ceiling, and he's just shooting these dark energy things at you. This is where even on my second playthrough, I still didn't feel like it fully clicked with me. Shadow had the ability to shoot like his own energy back, and it said you could hold down the triangle button to lock onto 5. And I was doing it, and I couldn't really tell if I was locking on anything, so I was just mashing it. I just kept moving and mashing and did fine, because it would do like one at a time. Then he'd do like an onslaught at it.
Yeah.
And all he basically had to do was stuff from his body being shut out when it was all used up. You could get in there, you could attack, and it had like a very cinematic quick time event, to finish him off. Mashing the X, it feels good. Big like roundhouse kick, finish him off. And yeah, it was a fun fight. It's
so excited.
It's just feeling really good. It's got a great soundtrack. Performance was really good. There was a graphics mode. I had someone tell me if I remembered, please set it to performance mode.
Yeah.
I did ask permission because they weren't sure, and I'm like, can I change it? They're like, yes, you can. Went to performance mode. Oh man, ran smooth. Fidelity mode. Would not recommend playing in that. I'm really sorry. No, not worth it at all. Not for Sonic. Do not do that. Play it in performance mode, please. And yeah, in performance mode, ran like, smooth as butter.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so just fun, great music, great controls. Boss fight was really cool. Yeah, I'm sure in the game, in the context, they will teach you some things a little bit more, more naturally as you're encountering them as intended. But yeah, I'm just curious to see, some of the other stuff they showed in the trailer. Like there's like the wing thing, like he gets Doom wings at some point.
Yeah.
Didn't get to play that. So I'm kind of curious how off the rails crazy the Shadow stuff is going to go. But yeah, fun, really fun.
I really
Good
like
job.
these re-releases where they add new content,
Yep.
like Bowser's Fury.
It was being a lot of people were throwing
it's
around
so cool.
Bowser's
Yeah,
Fury when
yeah.
talking
I
about
think it's
Shadow
great.
Generations.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just like revisiting an old great game and having new stuff, I think goes a long way to appease people who never played it, but then also dude, I love Generations. I'm excited to hop back in, but then also this new stuff, awesome.
They have-
And my Green Hill Zone footage you
Yeah.
showed earlier looked so good.
Oh yeah, and also like collectibles in the stage if you want to slow down and try and get them.
Chaos Emeralds, you have to.
Oh yeah. Oh, the coins, the red coins, whatever. Yeah.
Nice. Sick. Isla's up next with Exoborne. I'll have to remember when I see it. I'm like, wait, what
Oh,
was
you're
this,
about to say
what was this game
Exo
again?
Primal.
Yeah.
That game's still going.
Yeah,
That game's still out there.
that's not Ubisoft though.
It's Capcom. But Exoborne.
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 We are the Exoborne.
We are the Exoborne. Hello, we are the Exoborne. Hello, Cincinnati. Okay, this is made by. Sorry, I just put Tic Tacs in my mouth to get that fat burger taste out of there.
Burger.
Made by Shark Mob from Sweden, which made The Division, I guess.
They probably worked on
Part
it.
of it.
14.
Part of it. I don't know. It is you traverse an alien world. It's an extraction shooter.
Jeez.
You bring in everything you need. Like everything you're carrying on you is what you've got. Kind of. I mean, obviously you find more loot and whatever. But like, that's kind of the thing. It's a co-op. NPCs and other players. You fight them and then you extract. Forces of nature are a huge part of it.
Right. Okay. I remember this.
As
now.
you can see in the trailer, like right now, there's a bus being thrown around by a tornado.
I forgot to say one. I am sorry to hijack you, Isla, but you're talking about weather. This is directly for Dawn. One last thing about Assassin's Creed Shadows because they hyped it up.
That was like 2 hours
I
ago.
know, but they
Far back
hyped it
where
up
you're going.
specifically, Isla. You know what they said? They said, when the fog rolls in, you better be alert. Because you cannot see. They hyped up the fog specifically. I'm
Zero
sorry.
visibility,
Yes, I had-
fog, nothing.
It was the main
finer.
thing. Yeah, it's the main thing I wanted to say. I'm sorry. Okay, sorry.
That's okay.
Thank you, Huber.
Okay, yeah.
I will say Shark Mob also worked on Blood Hunt, the Vampire the Masquerade game.
All right. Blood Hunt.
Yo,
I
Blood
liked-
was fun, yeah.
I enjoyed it. It's fucking hardcore.
Yeah.
And like this game is gonna be hardcore. Like it seems, like I haven't played Tarkov. Closest thing to an extraction shooter I think I've played is probably Lethal Company. But
Count it.
so I'm coming at this with fresh eyes. Let's say it seemed kind of friendly because they were talking to me. So I didn't get to play this. I saw a presentation,
Right.
which included. They were kind of talking to me, showing me some slides and some details, and then I saw an extended gameplay thing. And it looks neat. Like you have an exosuit, and then you can have different like loadouts on the exosuit. Kind of, it basically like the way they were describing it. It seemed like it was kind of like different classes. I don't know why the loop thing stops working the second I leave the room. Yeah, loop. Weird.
Loop-de-loop.
Anyway, I forgot what I was talking about. Oh,
Classes.
yeah. Like, I don't think it literally is like classes, but the way they were describing it kind of sounds like that, so that you can have a heavy exosuit that keeps you kind of on the ground, like you can't get up. But then there are other exosuits where you can, like, go up and stuff like that. And they were showing all kinds of cool, like, gameplay loops where you, like, could run into or drive your car into a tornado and get lifted off the ground.
That is nuts.
And then jump out of the car and parachute down somewhere else, you know?
Okay.
It was kind of rad. I was taking notes. Without looking at my phone while listening to them talk. And right here it just says Bear Future.
Bear future.
Bear future.
Oh,
This is a future. I
Near
wanna live in.
future.
Oh,
I think it's supposed to be near future. I was like, what the fuck is bear future? I don't remember that. So there's a big company called Rebirth. And in some of the footage, you'll see like a giant tower. There was one kind of looming in the background when that lightning struck. There's one right there. So the world has had some kind of
Bust, dude.
like, climate cataclysm has happened, as we shall see in about 20 or 30 years ourselves.
20 or
And
30 minutes.
this company Rebirth made these big towers that like harness the power of the weather to like generate power. So there's these big, huge fucking like power cables everywhere.
Like
And-
Quantum of Solace.
like Quantum Solace, kind of.
Yeah.
Except, you know, it doesn't all go to plan, and not everything works out the way maybe people hoped. It seems like an interesting setting for a thing. I saw them. They went by they had some funny like off-brand restaurants in the game. They didn't like shout these out. I just noticed them, and one of them was Chef Lobster, which was a red. It looked like Red Lobster, but the lobster had a little chef hat on, and I was like, that's funny.
That's good.
Also, like that's kind of fucked up if you think about it. Like he's a chef lobster and presumably cooking lobsters.
True.
I don't know.
Cooking his own kind.
Yeah, neither here nor there. But yeah, it's, there's PvP, there's factions, there's NPCs. Takes place in Colton County, a fictional area in the southern United States. There's fog, there's tornadoes,
Fog.
there's fire
This is the year of
tornadoes.
fog.
You can customize your person. You can customize weapons. The weapon mod system looked pretty cool and very robust. There are robot enemies as well as like human bandits and stuff. Using Unreal Engine 5, so it looks really good. PC and consoles. It is a premium title, not free to play. They say you are what you carry. That's what I was trying to remember before. Like, so you build your loadout and it's custom to you, but it's also like you're in hostile
risking it.
territory with whatever you've got. And
You're gambling.
it's an extraction shooter, so you're risking it. And they talked to me a lot about like how they were trying to set the risk reward kind of for this game. And if I understand Tarkov correctly, it's like high risk, high reward, but like, and high session risk, high long-term risk, because if you go in with your best stuff and lose it, it's just gone, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know the full details of this, but they were saying that they're trying to put it like toward high session risk, but like mid to low like long-term risk.
That seems like a really nice balance.
Which honestly, like to me, it seemed like a little friendlier version of an extraction shooter where it's like, and I don't know the full details on how this will work, but like from what they were saying, it sounds to me like there's some kinds of systems in place, whether it's, I don't know if it's whether like leveling up or if you keep the schematics or some, I don't know, but it sounds like, you'll have a high risk for that session where like you could lose something for that session, but long term you're still going to be making progress. So it's like a roguelite kind of a vibe. Like there's still some kind of progression even if you lose your stuff.
I love that.
That's what it sounded like anyway. They say that
Even if you fail miserably, you at least
yeah.
still earned something.
yeah, dynamic climate, forces of nature, a lot of verticality, crazy amounts of verticality. They were like going up and down and flying up and getting sucked up by tornadoes and stuff. You could different exo rigs. You can outfit them with like a shield, cloaking device, So basically like heavy, big, fast, whatever you want. Different kind of play styles. And the loop is you prepare, you traverse, you locate your mission objective, get it, and extract. 10 to 20 minutes per kind of run. Looting takes a bit of time, so you have to be like, you want someone to cover you while you're looting someone. So like if you kill another player, you have to like, it wasn't like forever. It took like, I don't know, a couple of seconds, but like you're pretty exposed during that, which I thought was fun. And they wanted to say that they kind of tried to have fun, like kind of variable pacing throughout the matches. So like, there are moments where you're kind of exploring and like trying to find stuff and like looking at certain things, and then you can find like you get to a point of interest or whatever and activate the beacon or whatever to do a thing, and that might attract some people or some enemies. You deal with that, so there's kinds of moments of exploration and slowness mixed with elements of really dramatic combat and traversal stuff. And then there was one part that was really cool. They like jumped up onto this giant cable and were using that to like get across the countryside because it kind of was just laying over everything. So they were like running along that, but they were like this is really convenient. You can see the cables kind of there. They're like these huge cables. But they were like, this is really convenient, but you're also really exposed up there.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And one thing I thought was really nice is as long as one of your teammates is still alive, you can be revived.
Hell yeah,
Like
Nice.
all your shit has probably been stolen by whoever killed you, so you'll come back with like basically nothing, and you'll have to go kill some like trash mob bandits to get a gun. But like, you're not down and out. You don't have to sit there for 10 minutes while you wait for your team to get to
Reboot
an
'em.
extraction. Seems cool.
Awesome.
Exoborne.
Does seem cool. I like this trailer too. Time it's running back.
Yeah,
This
I mean,
the
it
bus
seems,
hitting this guy is really cool every time.
It seems hardcore but approachable to me. Like
Yeah.
it seems like something I would probably not be great at, but could learn to be decent at.
Cool.
Nice. So while we got you, want to go ahead and do Flock.
Hell yeah, Flock, dude. This
Yeah.
was one of my faves that I played.
Nice. Yeah, I played it back at
There's
Day of
B-roll in the
Devs.
folder, Don.
I mean, it's kind of like a little bit of like kind of like 3D Hohokam vibes. A little bit of like
I think you have to click it one more to say just repeat one.
a little bit of like Pokemon Snap-ish kind of thing, where like you find there's like
And then full screen.
weird
it.
little guys. But yeah, how was it?
Well, you just talked about it. It was really cute. You start off, and I don't know if I missed a character name select thing because everyone was calling me Richard, and I was like, "What the hell's going on?"
Richard.
But you could create how you look, and you choose your bird, and you fly around. What I thought was interesting is you don't manually control the height of the bird; it just automatically avoids stuff. But it's really cute. The vibes are super chill.
How's the music?
Really good.
Good.
The sound design is really cool. The monsters, or not monsters, the little critters all make different little calls, and you use your whistle to call them back. And you have to get the right distance to see those little parentheses. They have to line up, and then you hit the call, and you can then charm them if you do it enough times in the right way. So the kind of general
Fey or fee. How did we pronounce it, Blood?
Fia.
Yeah, because you had to do that same thing. The
Never
calling
played
thing.
that.
Sorry, it just sounded very like that, which was cool.
Got it.
So the general setup is I assume that the demo I had started me at the beginning of the game. I'm flying through the clouds, and my aunt is like, "Hey, come visit us. We're in the big towers." And so you fly over the towers, and then you do a couple of things to kind of orient yourself. You examine the creatures, and the first time you see them, you say start identification, and then it'll pop up the little kind of encyclopedia of critters that you've got. And if it's a new family that you've not seen, it'll say like, oh, new family discovered. And then you have options of what kind of characteristics they have. So you like pick which one it is.
Yeah, you basically you're the one that has to identify them based on the
Although if you get
trait
it
described,
wrong,
yeah.
I imagine she would just go like, "No, that's not it." Because like each time I did that, I did it right. One time I picked the wrong family. Because if you've already discovered the family, it'll say this one's from a family that you've already seen. Do you know which one? You know, and then like the controller just went all the way right, and I hit
Yeah.
go, and I thought it was in the middle, and it was like not that one, and I just tried the other one. Yeah. Anyway, so you do a little stuff to like start out, and then some buells, some burgling buells
Those
come.
burgling buells are back.
And they steal all the whistles.
Yeah, they
And you
do.
need those whistles.
That's what they do.
So then, yeah, you have to go around and find each whistle, which makes sense because at first that she just has all the whistles, and you need those whistles to like attract the animals. And I was like, well, shit, you could just attract every animal from
Just
the
grab them
word
all.
go, you know?
Yeah.
But no, the burgling buells steal them and scatter to the wind, so you got to go find them.
Cool.
And then you need a sheep to eat the hill to get the buell out of the hill, and then you can get the whistle, and then you can charm more animals for your flock.
I also still really love that like you have all these weird things like the burgling buells and these little guys and those little guys.
Yeah, cosmets and like,
Yeah, and then you have a sheep.
and then yeah,
A
sheep.
sheep is just a sheep.
Except for that it doesn't have legs and that it flies.
Yeah. But yeah, and then you drop them off somewhere to eat grass, and that kind of like it exposes one of the other creatures.
Yeah.
Because it's camouflage.
And all the
as a bit
critters-
of the grass.
And all the critters have different like behaviors, you know, so you have to, some of them you have to like sneak up behind them. If they notice you, they'll hide or whatever. And it's really cute. The aunt and uncle have a nice repartee where like the aunt is like very interested in the, like, I don't know what they're called, like just the general flying critters. She's interested in those. And then like the first time I started identifying a sheep, she was just like, that's just a sheep. They don't matter, you know, or whatever. And then the uncle is like, now here, now see here, that's
tell
Bessie.
ya.
She's marvelous. Like she's wonderful. And he like sings the praises of sheep. And then later when you start using sheep to like clear the grass to find the burgling buells, he's like, now see, they've got a lot of utility, and you can shear them for wool and stuff. It's just generally a very cute game. I don't know. And it's multiplayer, which I did not experience, but
Right.
I imagine it'll be very cozy to just kind of like
Is it
go around.
Is it new music or like?
I don't
already-
know. I think it's proprietary to the game. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
The
This whole
setting.
game I know had like a lot of
Oh yeah, that I don't know.
artists already.
Oh, I see.
Where I was playing it at SGF, so like
Yeah.
I was playing this nice relaxing bird game while like Sir Mix-a-Lot was blasting in the speakers above me, so it was like whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean,
Cool.
kind of WYSIWYG on this one, but like it's pretty sick.
Hell yeah.
No.
When's this coming out, Blood? Do we know?
Yeah, I don't know.
Actually, no. They did just announce release date.
They renounced a release date.
Announced
Renounce
now.
it.
Renounce it.
Renounce it.
We're not coming out.
July.
God wills it.
I
So
feel
it's
like June
not
and July are out of
July.
control.
July 16th.
We've renounced
Okay,
July.
July 16th.
July 16th. That's pretty soon. Damn.
Yeah, I feel like I've been saying that about every game. Oh,
that
that's
seemed
soon.
like a
Oh, that's soon.
month.
Yeah.
And then
Flock, dude. Check it out.
last one for tonight, Michael Damiani. And I've heard some other people singing the praises of this one, so I'm curious of what
one?
you think, if you agree or not. Harmonium the musical.
Oh, yes. Yes. So, I got to check this out. There was a brief presentation. They had the developers there. And a lot of the development team actually, so let me back up. This game is about a deaf girl who uses sign language to communicate, but she's from a family with a long history of being musicians, and she is trying to find her place in the world by still trying to be a musician while dealing with the fact that she is deaf. And this game, they are going for kind of like a Pixar vibe. And I was definitely getting that in a lot of the moments. But while it looks like it could just be like a show, there is a lot of interactive elements in here, which is, why it's still a game. So I was very curious, like what the game would actually be. And I did get a brief hands-on with 3 different segments of this
Okay,
game.
nice.
Now, to back up to the presentation, yes, a lot of the development team for this game includes a lot of staff members who are also deaf, not just on the writing team, but also like, they were talking about engineers as well. They were saying that like another challenge was like, it's very actually hard, they said, to translate from English to American Sign Language. It's not like as simple as you think it is, but they also had international staffs, and they had their own version of sign language. And so translating between those different versions of sign language into English, into other languages as well. They were talking about the challenges about that, but also how, that made them a really close team, and they feel like they did a really good job, in depicting this world and giving you experience that you might not be used to. And I will have to say, in this game, they have subtitles on for you, but a lot of this game's interactive elements are about characters using body language, arms, hands, sign to communicate to you, the player, as well, and you having to pick up on those descriptions. So it's not literally you don't need to know sign language, but they'll do the charade style, describing something to you with hand motions only. So let's see, what was anything else here? So the real quick backstory, she was afflicted with a sickness at age 6, which started to cause her to go deaf. And I got to try an opening segment where she is in her living room, and one of her friends comes over and is explaining that he invited some people over to an event they're going to be going to a little bit later, and she's kind of like, oh no, you invited people to come to this? I think it's a performance she's going to be doing. So she's like, who'd you invite? And so she the friend is describing to her who they invited. So one of them was very easy, was doing Naruto run. They just ran around the yard doing that. It's oh, so you pick the person who runs around like a ninja a lot, and then she signs their name because she knows who they are, and then your friend will be like, yes, that was them. And if you get it wrong, they'll be like, no. So the one I didn't get was the friend who likes to be a magician. I like that one I had a little trouble with. It took me a few guesses, and then I got it. But that was it. So you were trying to guess based on your friends, gestures, who was being invited to your recital, I guess. And then I got to explore. So eventually you get drawn into this magical world. You're basically trying to write out a composition on the pages, and you get sucked into your page. The notes escape, you chase them, and then you get drawn into the pages, and the notes are still out there in this fantasy world, and you're moving through this forest where the ground is keys. And you're just walking over keys, and they're making notes, and you come up to this fairy who's trapped in this tree, and you have to there's symbols like circle, square, triangle hanging from this tree, and they sign to you basically the shapes, which ones you should do in which order for each branch or each vine to be removed. So you watch the gestures, you input the symbols, you just tap. It's all touch. So I play this on an iPad. Sorry. Yeah. So it's all touch controls. So it's a virtual analog stick. Wherever you held your thumb down, you could do the movement there, and everything else that would glow, you could touch to interact with. So you just touch the symbols in the right order. It'll show you what you did. She'll nod in approval or be like And the game, one of the goals of this game is to never make you feel like you're doing a bad job. It's no. It's okay. Let me try again. Don't worry, don't panic. Yeah, it's very much an encouraging game. And the last part is you're in this dungeon type environment where it's very steampunk looking, a lot of steam coming up, but a lot of the pipes look like tuba tubes or trumpet tubes, and you are separated. You can't hear each other either. Sorry, you can see each other, but you can't see. You have to solve a puzzle. The first part of it is you have a statue with 3 parts: a head, a body, and feet. But on the fairy side, they have a thing on the wall they can see, but you can't see it. Sorry, that's how it was.
So this is the We Were Here games, sort of, but a single player scenario.
Yeah.
So they're gesturing to you what they look like. So one of them is the head was like a ram horn with keyboards. So they made the shape, curvy shape with their hands, and then played their fingers on a keyboard. Or it was their feet were drums, so they just go bum 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 on their thighs and simple stuff like that. And you can take as much time as you want, like do it again, and then once you do it, they blow on the horn, and then they'll come back and like nod in approval or be like, no, let's see what's wrong, and then you get roles reverse. Now you have to describe to them, to the fairy, what you're seeing, and then they will, and you can't see what they're shifting. They're like saying no, you know, try and sign to them like no, that's not right, and that's where the demo ended. So, I walked down a hall a little bit, and this giant mechanical bull thing appeared, and I'm like, what? And you're getting ready to run away, and it cuts there and says, thanks for playing.
Okay.
And yeah, it's a very heartwarming game. Absolutely, like,
Can't wait.
like this is
Day one.
You know, I don't generally like playing like, you know, iPad or iPhone game, but like this is like felt like absolutely would, you know, check this out. So, and it's gonna be on it's on Netflix Games. So if you have a Netflix subscription, it's just gonna be right on there.
But Netflix Games is only on mobile, right?
On mobile devices,
Yeah.
I believe. Yeah, you can't
Alright.
play it on your PC, I believe. Yeah,
That's
so you need to play it on mobile device. That's the one caveat.
Okay.
Because yeah, I think even with mouse and click it could work, but like it's definitely. But yeah, the personality of characters comes out like
She looks amazing.
Like
I'm
yeah,
already
like
so invested in her.
like, so many games
God.
have been doing a really good job with like deaf characters. We just had like Spider-Man 2.
Right.
That was like such an amazing job with that. So I mean, it's really good to get like this, you know, this kind of like exposure for this. And I felt this game did a very good job, just like the segment in Spider-Man 2 did, of like trying their best to put you in the shoes of like, this is how you know, this is their reality. This is what you have to work with, and like being, you know, very appreciative of what you have as well, and also being very empathetic. You know, learning some empathy.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, there's a little drum motion they did too.
Nice.
Looks
Thank
great.
you, Damiani.
Yeah.
And chat, that's going to wrap it up for us tonight. We're actually about to shoot some more stuff that is got to go up later,
No sleep.
unfortunately. And then we will sleep. And actually, that's a fair point, because we will not be doing group stream tomorrow night. So
It's
keep
cut.
that in
We
mind.
tired.
It's
Yeah,
cut.
we're tired. We're going to need to
We're
sleep.
on sleep until 3 p.m.
I
tomorrow.
got to do a bunch of thumbnails and timestamps. Thank you for your patience there. Thank you to people that have been putting timestamps in the comments. That's been definitely helpful for others coming along.
I got something fun going up tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all.
Yeah.
Wait for that.
And then, if you've been enjoying everything, thank you to everybody that's been subbing and gift subbing. If you want to get over there on Patreon, patreon.com/easyallies is the main way to support us. And you can get all kinds of fun perks and rewards. So keep an eye out for Huber's video coming up. Keep an eye out for more impressions. We'll have more stuff going up tomorrow, more stuff going up later in the week, more stuff going up later. Some of the stuff we don't even know when can go up yet. But keep an eye out. Lots of Summer Game Fest stuff to come still. And thank you for watching.